with senior advisors. And on today's episode of Coffee with Justin, I'm happy to introduce Roderick Spann, who's been one of our Medicare agents since 2020. We're happy to have Rod on the team. He's been doing a great job, and we're excited for this episode of Coffee with Justin so you can learn more about Rod. Cheers, Rod.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
All right. So the first questions we start out with are just kind of some silly coffee questions just to get going. The first one is what's your preferred coffee or of choice, whether it's a brand or type of coffee that you like to drink?
Preferences change from time to time, but I do prefer whole bean coffee. I like to grind it that morning before either doing a little bit of pour over or in just the regular drip coffee maker. I kind of waffle between loving Starbucks Sumatra, but it's a little bit pricey. So every now and then I just stick with the Lidl brand Colombian. So it's just a real generic grocery store whole bean coffee. So yeah.
All right, good stuff. But you do like to grind the beans. You get the freshest flavor that way.
As much as humanly possible. Keep them in the freezer, nice and cold, and yeah.
Good stuff. How many cups a day generally?
Two. One in the morning and one in the afternoon. It used to be, very, very time oriented, but had to be at like 8 o'clock and 3 o'clock. But now it's a little bit more flexible. Just in the morning, in the afternoon, just keeps me going.
Good stuff. And if you could sit down and have a cup of coffee with anyone, who would you choose to have a cup of coffee with?
That's a tough one. That's a tough question. Obviously, I would always choose my wife, right? She's a great companion to have for coffee at any point in time. But if anyone else, man, I don't know. That's a tough question. I'll stick with my wife. That's a safe,
all right. Good answer. Good answer. That works. That'll earn you some points.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit. You mentioned your wife. Tell us a little bit about your wife and about how you met, maybe, and a little bit of the history there.
Yeah. So we're recently married. We just got married last year, October 2020. We met through some mutual friends. Normally I'm not the one to be set up. I'm actually historically stubborn in that area, but they set us up and they did a good job. So we met early last year and really, really hit it off, even in the midst of the pandemic. And because of the pandemic, not a lot of us weren't doing a lot of things. So it was a great time to just get a chance to get to know each other. So yeah, things progressed quickly, and we ended up getting married, engaged in July of last year, and then married October 3rd, 2020.
Yeah. You did a virtual wedding, is that right?
You know it, Zoom all the way. So we only had about 10 people, including the photographer and the person who was running our AV there in person. But we had a good amount of friends and family from all over. I'm originally from California, so a lot of my close friends are out there in California, and as far as family, they're all out there. So we're all able to get tied in. So it was nice.
Very nice. Now at the end of the wedding, you surprised Jessica with a little serenade. You want to tell us a little bit about that, or?
Yeah, actually. So I've been playing guitar. I hate to say how long I've been playing because it does not show in my guitar playing skills, but I've been playing guitar for about 21 years, and I like writing my own music. So I've written a lot of songs over the years, and I remember Jess, when we were dating, she was like, "Oh, you never written a song for me," and I was like, "Yeah, that's true." It's like it just has to come. The inspiration has to come, So I still remember that day. I have the note that I wrote into my phone. I think it was like July 3rd or something like that, and like it just hit me, like just the words to the song. So I wrote the song, wrote the melody, and I kind of just stashed it. I told a couple of friends and her mom that I was like, "Hey, I wrote this song. I'm going to play it on our wedding day." So it was kind of a surprise. I don't know if she was super surprised. I think deep down she was hoping that I would do something.
Okay.
But it was nice. It was nice. It ended up being pretty special. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna argue with your point that you're not a good guitar player or musician. Okay. I think you did a fabulous job, and I'm actually going to surprise you since you surprised Jessica, and I'm going to share just for our audience here a little video of that song. Obviously, if you decide you're not comfortable, we can edit this out. But I think it's great. So let me just see if we can pull this up here.
We do things just fell into place, fell into line, and we fell in love right on time because you are the one, you are the love, you are the greatest gift from above. That's why you're my best friend. Today you're my bride, from this day on I will call you my wife and I'll stay by your side. Did you ever think we'd ever find a greater description of love's definition? Cause I'm going out of my mind, just trying to keep in these feelings I'm deep in. Cause you fell, I swear I fell harder. There's no need to fight about it, please don't bother. Cause you are my favorite partner. I love you. Cause you are the one, yes you are my love. You are the greatest gift from above. That's why you're my best friend. Today you're my bride, from this day on I will call you my wife and I'll stay by your side. Oh, oh, oh.
So yeah, no, clearly very talented from a musical perspective. And just to kind of shift a little bit into, I think your talents as a Medicare agent and what you've done here, and you've done a phenomenal job in, the short while you've been here. I'm just curious if you could, share with the audience a little bit about your path into, senior advisor, maybe the history of your career beforehand, and then how you ended up here at Senior Advisors.
So just a little career history. Like right out of high school, I kind of got into a little bit of the educational field. So I was working at an educational store, doing tutoring on the side and stuff like that. But then a short while after, I actually got into the hospitality industry. A good friend of mine, he worked for Hilton Worldwide. He worked at the Embassy Suites Mandalay Beach Resort down in Oxnard, California. If you've never been, it's the hidden gem of Southern California. Extremely beautiful. So he ended up getting me a job there at the front desk. And so that was my first experience in the hospitality industry, and I just loved it. It was amazing just being able to interact with so many different people from all over the world and helping them to have a seamless guest experience was something that really struck a chord with me personally. So I worked for Hilton for, close to 8 years in a few different properties, working at the front desk, doing night auditing, and then eventually into the front office management and guest service operations. So basically just overseeing the front office, bellman, valet, anything that the guests would have to interact with. And that was something that I found a lot of joy in. Eventually, I left the hospitality industry. I did volunteer work for close to 6 years. And then when I met Jess and we were making these plans to get married, volunteering wasn't going to pay the bills. So I had to make a shift. Unfortunately, it was during that time, it was also coronavirus, which took a major hit to the hospitality industry. So I had to make a change there. And so I just started applying for all kinds of different jobs that would possibly be of interest to me. A friend kind of hinted towards financial advising or something in the insurance field. So I had a lot of job interviews with different folks in that area, and it didn't super appeal to me. But I remember when I talked to you, you were actually one of the first ones that I interviewed with, and you were highlighting that you guys work senior advisors, so now us, work specifically in the field of Medicare, and I knew nothing about Medicare. But our conversation was really, really nice. You were very straightforward, very, very sincere. And that's one of the qualities that I truly appreciate about someone that I'm going to work with or work for. So basically that was it. So I went on a bunch of different interviews, but you kept checking in with me every couple of weeks, knowing that we had an appointment about a month and a half in advance, a month and a half later, that we were supposed to meet up for coffee and talk more about the job. And yeah, so we had that appointment, and that was the day that I was like, yeah, I want to work at Senior Advisors. Justin Lubino is the man.
All right. Well, I'm glad we found each other, and glad you ended up with
Yeah.
Senior Advisors. And you know, you've, like I said, we're really proud of what you've done in a short period here, and really come up to speed and just doing a fabulous job for your clients from a Medicare perspective. And
Thank you. Thank you.
you know, maybe just to kind of touch on a little bit of that history a little more. Your hospitality industry, obviously a great background, kind of for, I think, for any field, just because you're helping people, you're service, you know, providing a service. I'm just curious, are there any stories, or, you know, we hear about like with flight attendants, you know, there's all these kind of hidden details or stories about, you know, what goes on with whether it's the ice machine or whatever on the plane. I mean, is there anything from a, you know, hospitality perspective that, you know, without throwing any, you know, corporations under the bus, you know, any funny stories or anything you'd want to share?
Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, hospitality industry is unlike any other. I enjoyed every aspect of it. For a brief period in time, because for most of my career, I did work for Hilton Worldwide. For a brief period in time, I did work for Marriott, which I also enjoyed. They're an amazing company, a competitor, obviously, to Hilton, but an excellent company, nice business structure. I think, let's see, one story I think that really, or it actually happened a lot. A lot of times we would run into folks that were getting displaced because of some type of like disaster or some type of a situation that they were facing. And, you know, as much as it is a business, we like to look for opportunities to help, you know, families that are being affected in any way in our community. So later on, when, you know, had a little bit more responsibility, it was nice to be able to make those types of exceptions to really help people out. You know, if they're unable for some reason to handle the full expense of being in the hotel, or if they need some extra amenities that will just make their stay more comfortable because of whatever situation they find themselves in. That actually came up quite a bit in a couple of different properties, but it's nice to be able to help in that area, because really that's what hospitality is all about, right? It's kindness to strangers. So when you make every single person, no matter their situation or their background, to feel welcome in their home away from home, then it's something that makes us feel good. And it also is great for business, when people can really sense that you care. So
Yeah, no, that's great. Those are good stories, and you clearly have a good heart, and you know, it's in the hospitality industry, probably did well for you, and here as well at Senior Advisors. Yeah, I'm curious now. You've been here now about a year, and you know, helping people with their Medicare planning. Are there any particular stories or cases that you feel, you know, are most memorable to you, or you're, you know, provided a good positive impact for someone?
yeah. I'll never forget my first client. It was actually two clients. Two clients. You do all the training, right? You go through all of the lessons, you get licensed, you do all this stuff, but once you actually start helping people and you're understanding their situation, there's nothing like it. So my first client was actually extremely complicated. Both had a long list of medications that they were dealing with, doctors that we had to do all these checks for, and it was very complicated. One, because I was just learning, and two, because their situation, I didn't realize it was extremely unique. So I remember asking you afterward, I was like, is everything like this? Is every client like this? You're like, no, this just happens to be a very difficult one to happen. Granted, my first few clients were similar to that, but yeah, that first client, and it was great, because at the end of it, even though we were able to, not even though we were able to help them find the best plan for them, the best prescription plan and the best supplement plan to take care of their needs, even though it was going to cost them a good amount of money, it was definitely going to save them more money than if they did nothing. If they were to do it by themselves, if they weren't to call us and kind of figure these things out when it comes to their choices. So that first client experience is definitely always going to be a memory for me, a good one.
Yeah, no, it was drinking from the fire hose for sure. I mean, that
Yeah.
expression was you know, your first one was a doozy for sure. Yeah, and and I want to and I know you didn't mean this at all. I just want to clarify for our audience. You think about, you said it was expensive for them. Yeah, the supplements. There's no fee, first of all, to work with us. So I just want to make that clear. At Senior Advisors, we don't even have a way to send a bill. People ask us all the time, well, what's your fee going to be, and how much is that? There's no fee to work with us as a broker. Basically, we help, as Rod just indicated, we help people kind of walk through the entire process, let them know the different plans that are out there. We work with all the A-rated insurance companies, so we're not captive to a particular insurance company. We're independent agents. And if we help you enroll in a plan, we get a commission from the insurance company. But the premium you pay is the exact same premium, whether you work with us or you go directly to that insurance company. So we're just looking for the best, most cost-effective plan, the most robust coverage you can get. And there's no fee, to work with us. To Rod's point, yes, there's a premium, there's a cost to, if you're buying coverage, a supplement, but there's no fee to work with us. So, and again, I know you didn't mean anything with that. I just want to clarify for the audience. So
yeah, expensive drugs. They had expensive drugs. So.
Yeah. It's okay. So I guess in the next couple of years or so, when you think about kind of helping people from a Medicare perspective, are there certain things that you concern you, or any challenges you've seen that you foresee for Medicare beneficiaries in the next few years? Or
There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of half truths, and a lot of folks that good, well-intentioned, but perhaps aren't as informed about the actualities or the truths in regards to Medicare. So and we see that, right, with more and more commercials, more and more folks getting mail that's pretty misleading in regards to where it's actually from and who they actually represent. So one thing that we try to stress with our clients is that, one, again, we don't charge anything for our services, but we are looking out for your best interest. So helping not just our clients, but even as many people as possible to have the right information to stay up to date when it comes to changes in Medicare, and before they make any type of change or make any type of decision, to become informed as much as possible, to get themselves educated, which is what we try to do, right? We bill ourselves as educators first. And yes, we are insurance agents and brokers on the side, but we're educators. So we help people to understand the ins and outs of Medicare, and that's our goal now and for the future.
That's great. No, that's great. And it feels good too, right? When you help people and you educate them, and they're so anxious, and the stress level is so high when they first call, because Medicare is confusing. And like you said, they're getting bombarded with marketing material and commercials. And, after a, 20, 30-minute call, whatever, 15 minutes, however long it takes, and we explain everything and simplify it, we hear all the time how appreciative people are. And that feels good too. So
yeah, there's not much like it. So it's a good feeling. It's nice.
Yeah. Good stuff. Well, Rod, I want to thank you again for taking the time to join us today, and we're very happy to have you at Senior Advisors, and we look forward to the future with you as one of our agents, to continue to grow with the team here, and thanks again, and cheers. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Thanks for the mug.
Absolutely.